everybody on YouTube, I'm Owen H. Welcome to another episode of What's It Worth. Since the fall weather's coming in, guess what I'm in the mood for? Horror movies. Hey, I'm going to review one of them, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's Halloween 1968 in Mill Valley, Pennsylvania, and when a group of friends enter the long-abandoned Bellows estate, they find a book of scary stories by the strange Sarah Bellows. What they don't know yet is they've doomed themselves as they become characters in Sarah's cursed book, and their darkest fears and their worst nightmares materialize to terrifying life to claim them as victims. Can the teens save themselves from becoming the next scary story? I remember reading these books back in school. What Scary Stories is it's not one story split into three little books. What it is it's a collection of scary stories, short stories, whether they're based on urban legends, myths, or just like something out of somebody's worst nightmare put on paper. And it's in these little books. And what intrigues people to read them is the eerie artwork that they put with each story. That's what drew me in because I'm an artist. They're not Stephen King disturbing, but they're darker and grimmer than Goosebumps. These stories, they don't really have happy endings. But as a kid, I ended up kind of dismissing the books as kind of like Goosebumps knockoffs. But then when the movie came out, I actually rented it out. I was literally taken back by how good this movie was. I mean, I was really, really surprised by Scary Story. I mean, I was just so shocked of like how much of a real horror movie this film was. It's more like a teen horror movie. I mean, this was not a watered down, kiddie friendly scary movie like the Goosebumps movies. It was like, it's not based exactly on the books, but what they did is they took elements from each of the stories and they integrated into their own screenplay. They actually did it really well, especially with the fact that the main villain of the whole film is Sarah Bellows' book. Her angry spirit integrates you into these books, and you meet some horrible demise that there is no escape from. And it was just, it was really awesome. I mean, it just enjoyed the old school scares, the slow burn of dread, and just the idea that you can't kill these things. It was like, oh my god! And of course, they didn't integrate all the creatures from all the books like they did in the Goosebumps movie. No, they just picked like fan favorites, like which one was the most popular. And speaking of the creatures, the best part was they were people in suit, practical creatures. You know, they didn't get lazy and decide to do digital effects. They used some CGI, but only when it's necessary. But I'm glad they went with practical effects, all thanks to Guillermo del Toro, who produced this movie. That guy is known for creature features like Mimic, Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, Blade 2. I'm actually really excited to see his Netflix remake of Frankenstein, in which that movie better come out on DVD. I'm serious. Now, the characters in this movie, even though the protagonists are teenagers, I actually really enjoyed watching them. Unlike most teenage protagonists in other films where they come off either really dull, uninteresting, sometimes annoying, kind of suck to the point where you just never want to watch these movies again. These kids, they did a really good job. You believe them as the characters that they're playing. Like Zoe Colletti as Stella, a social misfit who's just getting over her mom leaving her and the town gossiping about her viciously. And the only way she copes with that problem is she writes scary stories during school. Wait a minute. That sounds oddly familiar. You could really buy that girl as that character, and she did a fantastic job when she actually sees the monstrosities face to face, and just the terror that comes out of her performance was really good. Chuck, who's like the smart-ass sidekick, who is now going to be cursed forever and be remembered as the kid who fishes his own turd out of the toilet.
A little privacy, please.
Yeah, that kid's definitely got issues.
Meet Lola. She is madly in love with me.
Yeah, your hand, baby.
There wasn't one moment of that kid that I found really weak. He was funny, he was entertaining. Augie, the kid did a really good job being a germaphobe who goes over, what's in the foods, and you should be worried about that.
Do you even know what's in those? It's the same toxic chemicals that's giving our troops Hodgkin's lymphoma and curdling the breast milk of the South Vietnamese. And you ate them all.
Is that why they taste so good?
He's the typical nerdy guy who hits on all the pretty girls that he encounters.
Stop staring at my sister, you perv.
I'm really shocked this kid doesn't play Spock. And of course, the new kid in town, Ramon, who is basically this charming, kind, helpful drifter who's got kind of a sad backstory.
He's so much dreamier than you.
Now, Chuck's sister, Ruby, she's kind of like the stuck-up princess, how she has to look pretty all the time. Sometimes she can be annoying, but I think that's the whole point of her character, is she's supposed to be annoying, because you're supposed to go like, ugh. Now, the douchebag character, Tommy, played by Austin Abrams, I think the kid did a really good job playing his dickhead of the story, who has got a pinch of racism. But what drove me nuts is how freaking monotone he is.
Everyone needs to get out. No.
I mean, I'm cursed as a monotone, but not by this much. I try not to be monotone. I apologize. I can't help it. The adult characters, they actually did a pretty good job, too. You got Dean Norris, who I've known him in so many movies, from Lethal Weapon, an episode of The X-Files, the Tremors TV series, Terminator 2. This guy completely surprised me. He usually plays as this cocky, hothead, kind of a douchebag. But in this film, he just kind of plays as a fractured father who is having a hard time connecting with his daughter. And then when she's really in trouble, that's when he's like really upset and he's just spilling his heart out, trying to tell her that her mom walking out on her was not her fault. The sheriff of the film, he did a really good job playing as this guy who just loves his job just a tad too much. And he's got like a pinch of racism as well. The next best selling point of the film would be the creatures. The best part about it is they look almost exactly like what you see in the paintings in those stories. And they pulled it off so beautifully. And I'm about to go over the 5 creatures and the 5 stories they put in this movie. Starting with number 1, Harold the Scarecrow. Now, the books version was a little bit creepier, and it had kind of an R-rated ending. I'm not going to spoil it. But I guess they wanted to keep it PG-13 rated, so they decided to change Tommy's demise. Says that kid just can't stop beating the shit out of the Scarecrow! And I'll tell you, that thing was iconic, and it was creepy. Number 2, the big toe. This scene, it was almost gross to watch. I'm not shitting you. When Augie comes across this pot of stew that just kind of came out of nowhere, and he starts eating out of it, and he bites down the toenail, and he slowly pulls it out of his mouth. It was just... ugh. Oh, and of course there was an eyeball in that stew. It was just like, you want to gag as badly as Augie does. And then it gets worse when he has a zombie croaking
Joe.
coming towards him. And it's like, oh. And it was one of those kind of nightmares where it doesn't matter how fast or how far you run, because that slow-ass thing is just going to catch up to you eventually. And just the slow burn of her coming closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And it was just that tormenting to where I had to go like this. Number 3, not really my favorite, the red spot. It's where Chuck's sister was bitten by a spider, and she has some kind of a recital or a play, and it got to a point where she ends up running to the bathroom before the show starts, and she's trying to get it to pop to get the swelling down, and this strand comes out of her face, and when she flicks it, it actually
retracts back, and you realize it's a spider leg, and she's got spiders just bursting out of her face. And it was like, yeah, some people wouldn't handle it. Me, I wasn't that crazy about it. Number 4, the Red Room. Now, with this part, this is where they throw in just a smidgen of The Shining. And Chuck is all by himself, and the book starts writing his name. This is where his worst nightmare comes to life. He's just trapped at one level all by himself. The whole room goes red. The sound of the sirens was just enough to build tension and make you feel so uneased. He's being stalked by a huge, obese, malformed, pale lady with beady little black eyes and long black hair, slugging her way towards him. And everywhere he goes, every exit, she's right there. And everywhere he turns, she gets closer and closer. I'm like, oh God. Like, between that, the sirens and the music was just like, oh God. They saved the best for last. And that would be...
Are you shitting me?
That creature was terrifying. I mean, how it was just this guy who dismembers himself, puts himself back together, and how he's constantly twisting himself in all different contorting directions. It's like, I would have to say he's like the equivalent of the creeper from Jeepers Creepers. It's like that creature will endure so much pain just to get you. And it's like, ugh. He was the best. And they did the smart thing. They saved the scariest and the best monster for last. And it was awesome.
I even love that little bit when the dog mumbles, "Me Taidu T Walker."
Of course, we can't forget the heart of those horror stories, which is Sarah Bellows, in which, for a really pissed off spirit, she's got kind of a tragic backstory, where a rich family, actually, who owned a paper mill, have her locked in some kind of a crypt behind a secret room, trapped in a dark place, abused to no end, even put into an insane asylum to be zapped to death, all because of this.
It says here that she was suffering from achromasia albinism.
We put her in her basement because she was different.
You should have stayed in your room. You have to turn the light.
You know, you really don't have to bother telling people you're from New York.
Sarah's spirit integrates Stella into a story, except what she does is Stella is put into a time warp where she's experiencing the horrors that Sarah had to endure from her point of view. Oh yeah, Scary Stories, out of my whole extensive collection of horror films, is one of those I would pull out and put in and watch every year around Halloween, because like the John Carpenter Halloween films, it's the perfect kind of horror movie to watch around that time of the season. So where do I rate Scary Stories? I'm giving this film an almost full price rating, because they did an amazing job making sure this is not some kiddie-friendly horror movie. I mean, it was really, really, really good. As a matter of fact, it makes me want to find the first book and then go back to reading all 3 of those books, because it's been a while since I've read them. So I'm done reviewing Scary Stories. I'm going to move on with something else. So please comment, please subscribe. I'm Owen H, and have a nice day.